Welcome to Music 101 with your host, Alexis Steele, sponsored by Steele Entertainment and Records LLC for all your entertainment needs, and also Romeo Recordings. Find them both on the web at Steele Entertainment and Records LLC.com and RomeoRecordings.com.
Hi, this is ESSRA Mohawk, and you're listening to Music 101 with Alexis Steele.
Hi, this is Alexis Steele with Music 101. It's with great pleasure that I bring today ESSRA Mohawk. How are you, ESSRA?
I'm fine, thank you, Alexis. How are you doing?
I'm glad you could join us today. ESSRA, you're originally from the Philadelphia area, correct?
Yeah, born and raised.
Okay, what part of Philly are you from?
Well, let's see, started out downtown, but that was before I could remember anything. I was just a baby. Then until I was 10 years old, I lived in West Philly. Then we moved to Oxford Circle for a few years, and then from there we moved to Northeast, the great Northeast, and that's where I was till I left home.
Okay. Okay, great. Well, being a fellow Philly chick here, I lived 24th in Indiana, so I was only about 6 years old, but I still consider myself a Philly chick because that's where I came from.
Yeah, I was.
But anyway, did you come from a musical background?
It's hard to, in a sense, I did, but not professionally. I guess, generations before me, everyone learned to play an instrument and until they came to this country. But and then they dropped it all, so I didn't have the pleasure of hearing any of my older relatives actually play an instrument, except for maybe my uncle who played the accordion. But my mother and father wrote songs together, wonderful songs, swing kind of stuff from the 40s, early 50s, and so I kind of picked up the process of songwriting from them. When I was a little girl and they had a tough time coming up with a rhyme, if they were stumped, I could always come up with a rhyme for them. And so when I was 8, I wrote my first song, and then I wrote another one when I was 12. And they finally got me a piano when I was 13 because I would sit down and play one whenever I would see one. And so by the time I was 14, I was writing nonstop. I was writing songs.
Okay, great. Well, you were actually discovered when you were 19. You were on vacation, and I guess Frank Zappa had heard you play and was blown away by your talent, right?
I was actually discovered when I was 15, and I some managers in Philadelphia put out my first record on Liberty Records when I was 16. And when I was 17, I was discovered again by Joe Wizard, who took me to New York, where I was offered a few different staff writers gigs, one at the Brill Building and one with United Artists. Ended up going back to Philly because it was too confusing. and then I went with some friends of a friend who were in from L.A., and those girls and I went to New York for, it wasn't really, I wouldn't call it vacation, just, just to go to New York and back. And that's where we bumped into, we saw Frank Zappa walking down the Bleecker Street.
Okay. And didn't you came across him, I guess, another time where he saw you performing?
No, it was all the same time. We were all just hanging out. He let us come in for free because they yelled out the names of some L.A. hangouts that he was familiar with, that later in life I was familiar with, but at the time I hadn't been to California, which is why he actually used to call me a strange little person from Philadelphia. But no, he had I don't know how long it was, a week or so, days. Back then I was 19, so I don't remember how much time went by. It wasn't a lot of time before he knew I played the keyboards, and he asked me if I would test out a keyboard for him because he'd just gotten this new electric piano, and John Preston, who was the keyboard player, was ill that day, so he asked me to try it out there in the Garrick Theater, where they were playing every day and night. And the only thing I knew how to play was my own songs. And if I started playing one of my songs, I'd have to sing along because it was all part of like one action, so to speak. And when he heard me playing and singing, he jumped up there and stuck a mic in front of me on the stage, and he stepped back into the theater, and then he jumped back up on the stage and asked me to follow him into his office, which it was, I should say, quote-unquote office. He just sat me down in the theater. And he asked me how would you like to be a mother, is what he said to me. And I said, he said, would you like to be a mother? That's what he said. And I said, sure. And that's how I got into the Mothers of Invention.
And you were the first female member in the Mothers of Invention as well, right?
That I know of. I'm told long since then, more recently, there was somebody that was with them but didn't make it out of L.A. when they all left. So I guess whoever she wasn't a real, actual, solid member of the band, whereas I was with them playing live every night.
So how long were you actually working in the Mothers of Invention?
About a year.
About a year? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, on and off. I went off to California for the first time during that first year. Came back. Started doing the album in '68. I turned 20 in the middle of recording the album. And it was released unfinished. I never got to really finish.
Nothing ever was finished. And
that wasn't finished. But my second album certainly was finished and wonderful, and I was very pleased with it, Primordial Lovers. But that
right, I was going to ask you about that. I didn't get to that yet. You've also, over the course of time, sang with Carole King?
Yeah, we had a little backup a vocal group for a short while. Very cool. Yeah, me, her, and Gail from Joe Mama. She mentioned me in her book, in fact.
Right, yeah, that's right. That's one of the things, too, I have in here, my list of questions. So one of the songs, actually, that I wanted to play was Ready for Some Good News. Do you want to give that some background on the song?
Well, I wrote it with Richard Fleming, who's a songwriter here in Nashville. Let's see, it's written on the mandolin, one of my first few songs written on the mandolin when I started playing the mandolin. It says how I feel about, and how many people feel. You turn on the TV and it's all bad news.
This is true.
A little bit of
what year did that song come out?
Absolutely. Well, you figure this, the Killer Groove Band album, which preceded it, came out initially in '99. Then I recorded the album you're speaking of in 2000. And I reissued, or I remastered the Killer Groove Band CD and put that out again in 2003. And so I think, was it either 2006 when we finally got out Love Is Still the Answer? I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the album. If you have one.
Well, you certainly have an extensive discography. Very much so. Actually, talking about Primordial Lovers, which we're going to get to in a minute, but actually let's just take a break right now and have our listeners take a listen to Ready for Some Good News, because we're certainly ready for it.
Cool.
Okay? Yeah. And we'll be right back on Music 101.
Done wrong. Oh, yes, I am. Come on like a fresh rain. Wash away the pain. Lord, I paid my dues. Now I'm ready. Oh, I'm ready for some good news. Yes, I'm ready. I can hear the kingdom coming. Like a clear and crystal dawn. You send the sun and hold me. Love has let me down. I've given so much up. Now it's time for me to fill my own cup. Ready for some good news. Yes, I'm ready. for everything I've ever done wrong. Oh, you're tired, come on like a fresh drink. Wash away the pain. Lord, I paid my dues. Now I'm ready. Oh, I'm ready for some good news. Yes, I'm ready. Oh, ready for some good news. Yes, I'm ready. Ready for some good news. Yes, I'm ready. Oh, ready for some good news. Yes, I'm ready. Oh, ready for some good news. Yes, I'm ready. Ready for some good news. Yes, I'm ready. Ready for some good news. Ready for some
Okay, we're back with ESSRA Mohawk. ESSRA, I guess in 1969, is that when you recorded Primordial Lovers?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And Rolling Stone magazine, they did a review on you, and they gave you a 4-star rating. They said it was one of the best 25 albums ever made. How did you feel
Actually, that was Paul. Oh, sorry, Paul Williams wrote about me in an article that was printed in Rolling Stone. It's Paul Williams, who recently passed away, by the way. He was the editor of Crawdaddy.
Okay, that's not Paul Williams, the artist. I think he was a musician. Is that the same guy?
Paul Williams, the music journalist.
Okay, the music journalist. Okay.
And like I said, he was the editor of Crawdaddy, and he passed away just a couple of months ago, I believe. Anyway, Paul did this article, and he said that he considered it one of the 25 best albums ever made. So that was in Rolling Stone, but it was Paul's opinion.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to keep things honest.
Okay, that's no problem. Okay. Well, I bet a lot of people would be surprised to know that you were the voice singing on the educational children's show program, Schoolhouse Rock.
Yep, that was me.
Yeah, I actually used to watch that with my kids.
Cool, yeah. I sang on Interjections. The one I'm most proud of is Suffer Until Suffrage, about the women's right to vote.
Oh, yeah, I remember all that.
And also, I was Orville and Wilbur Wright's mother in Mother Necessity.
Okay. So now, is that still going on in syndication? Are they still playing that?
I don't know. I really haven't kept up with it. I've sung on some new adult version Schoolhouse Rock stuff. It's not really Schoolhouse Rock, but it's taken from that music, and they're using the original vocalist like myself to sing on those things, and hopefully get them on Saturday Night Live or something.
Oh, that'd be very cool.
Like instead of Interjections, I sang one called Interventions.
Oh, very cool. Well, earlier you had mentioned you were in the book Hotel California, right?
Yeah, I'm in there.
Okay, and who was it that you said that mentioned you?
The Back to California or whatever it is. That's one thing, and then the Carole King's autobiography. She mentioned me. That's a whole other thing. I'm in a lot of books, actually. Yeah, I'm in a lot of books. When the Music Matters is one. They're all in my bookcase here. I could go look at all the titles, but...
That might take a while, right?
Yeah, I'm in a lot of those music histories, anything that covers the 60s. Dave DiMartino did a wonderful book on singer-songwriters. I'm in that. I'm a Yamaha artist. You can go online and see me listed as a Yamaha artist. Since my name starts with M, I think I'm on the same page as Paul McCartney and Joni Mitchell.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Now, we have another song that we're going to play. It's called Berlin Wall.
Oh,
were you actually there at that time?
No, but I was there in 2011, but only the airport.
Okay.
I played in Germany at Zappa Now, and that was great, great experience. But that is the very first song I wrote on the mandolin, and I like to think it felt like it wrote itself because what did I know? I just picked up the mandolin and the song came out. I never really learned to play. I didn't have time. I was too busy playing it already.
Wow. So were you self-taught then?
If you could call it teaching, I mean, I just pick things up and play them. I don't have to learn. I'm lucky.
That's great. That's a talent in itself.
Well, I used to be arrogant about it and wonder why people bother learning music if they can't already play it. But I realized later, as I grew older, that in fact everyone had to, not everyone, but anyone who wanted to play music had to spend at least one lifetime learning how, and then all of the lifetimes after that, they would be born like I am, just being able to play. I had to have studied in a past life to be able to play without studying this time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was actually talking about that with a bass player friend of mine. He's was Johnny Winter's bass player. And I was telling him the very same thing I just told you. And when we hung up, I picked up a book I was reading. I was in the middle of reading Meetings with Remarkable Men by Gurdjieff. And I was up to a page, and what was it about? It was about a woman who lived in his time, who studied everything about music, and when they described her, it was like they were describing me, and I went, it's no coincidence that I picked this up and read about this woman right after I had that telephone conversation, that in fact I probably was that woman.
Ah.
Spent a lifetime studying not just how to play music, but how and why and what affects you emotionally from music. You know, what kind of chords create what kind of emotions. And so all of that kind of comes natural to me because I must have really studied hard in the past life.
And music is a very powerful thing, that's for sure.
It stays with you, apparently, from lifetime to lifetime. So all of you out there that are studying music now, it's going to be real easy for you next time.
There you go. Okay, well, with that, we're going to take a listen to Berlin Wall, and we'll be right back with ESSRA on Music 101.
Doesn't have a dime to spend. Maybe he's my lover. Maybe he's my friend. Maybe I won't find out until the end. When it's time to take a leave, time to read the writing on the wall. Heading for the all in, that's the Berlin Wall. the Berlin Wall. Now time to pay the dues, time to read the writing on the wall. Heading for the fall. Darling, at the Berlin Wall. Easy come, easy go. Hold me close, let it fall, let it rain, let it snow, let it fall. Let the full wind blow. It's a love ball, can't weigh it all. Darling, at the Berlin Wall. Darling, at the Berlin Wall.
Okay, we're back with ESSRA Mohawk. ESSRA, Paul Kantner wanted you to be the lead singer of Jefferson Starship after Grace Slick left, right? But then they decided to go with Mickey Thomas. They wanted a male instead.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
I was encouraged. I was encouraged that I was even considered. I felt very positive about it.
Yeah, that would have been interesting, you know. That would have, you know.
It would have assured their success. I had really good songs for them, which they didn't have after that.
Yeah, it's a shame. They lost
Mickey
out
Thomas,
there for sure.
Right. I had songs that were perfect for them. And Mickey Thomas, I guess all he could provide was a vocal, and apparently wasn't much of a songwriter. But I could have given it all to them. But, hey, you know, it went the way it went. And I had just started chanting. I was living in Hollywood, and I was running into a brick wall when it came to the music business. I had left the East Coast and left a record deal thinking it would be really easy to pick up another. But I couldn't pick up anything. Couldn't get arrested, so to speak. So I ran into a friend who was chanting, and I started doing that. And thought, well, maybe I'm doing everything else right that I can think of. Let me add this one more thing onto my life. And I started chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, which is the law of cause and effect. And I thought, well, maybe this one more cause will create the effect we want. So the first couple of things that happened is I immediately got some work singing on publishing demos for Kim Talley, who I love.
Oh, for Kim, yes.
And I got the response from from Paul Kantner when he heard my tape. And he flew down to L.A. And that was very positive. I went in the studio and put the other, you know, to meet the rest of the band. They were recording there in L.A. But they had made up their mind it was going to be Mickey Thomas. Because
I got a chance to ask you who your musical influences were.
I really didn't have many. I guess maybe the Beatles. Before that, I guess it would be Judy Garland. Yeah, Ravel, Eric Satie, Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers. Yeah, I liked old rock and roll. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about Berlin Wall that we didn't get to. Right? We were recording a few songs at a place called the Long Hollow Jamboree for the Killer Groove Band. Essie Mohawk meets the Killer Groove Band.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a friend, now he's passed away too, who was this engineer who had a mobile unit, 16-track, 2-inch. We were going after that fat sound that the Killer Groove Band deserved. So, and Ben Keats, in fact, who's also just passed away not that long ago, and what is it, a couple of years now? A few? I don't know. 4? Time flies. And so he was producing these tracks. Tim Drummond, of course, was playing bass. And they were very proud, this particular Long Hollow Jamboree place, of the fact that Bill Monroe hung out there. They had his picture on the wall. They sat me down. They showed me where he would sit, and so I sat down where Bill Monroe used to sit, and there was a little hollow in the floor where he must have tapped a hollow in the floor from just tapping his foot there all those years.
Wow.
And I put my foot in that little hollow, and as it turned out, he was in the hospital. And as we, at that time, and as we wrapped up our session and left, he passed away. And I was suddenly seized with an uncontrollable urge to play the mandolin. Now, as you know or may not know, Bill Monroe is the father, considered the father of bluegrass music, and
right, yeah.
He played the hell out of a mandolin. But I had never heard it. I knew nothing of it until my contact with his hangout. And suddenly I felt the need to play mandolin. Well, I found myself in L.A. in a music store with a friend, and there was a mandolin, one of those little pear-shaped ones. I picked it up and started being able to play it immediately. It was so easy and so much fun. It was only $100. I said, well, let me sleep on it. In the morning I came back, I wanted that mandolin. It was gone.
Oh.
Now I had a Mandolin Jones.
Mm.
Fortunately, I had an association with Aria Guitars, and I got a mandolin through them. And I've been playing mandolin ever since. And that first song that came out of me when I first got my mandolin was Berlin Wall. And I just watched my fingers go from chord to chord without knowing. I'd go, okay, that sounds pretty good, but then what? And then my hand would go right to the next chord, and I'd go, oh, yeah, good, that's good. And then it would go to the next chord, and I was just like a witness watching. That's why I say I didn't learn how to play the mandolin. I just watched myself play it.
Wow. Yeah, I love the sound of mandolin.
Oh, it's a beautiful instrument. So it has its own little sound and style and way of going that it kind of takes you with it. So I just, when I was done writing the song, I just said, thank you, Bill. And most times when I play the mandolin, I remember to thank Bill. Sometimes when I pick it up, I say, help me, Bill. And he does. So I feel I have a connection, sometimes a better connection with the dead than the living.
Wow. So now, you're also a background vocalist for the Jerry Garcia band, too, right?
Speaking of the dead.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of the dead, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, at that time I was married to Daoud Shaw, who was a wonderful drummer, who was the original drummer for Saturday Night Live, and for 10 years he played with Van Morrison. He's on Brown Eyed Girl, a bunch of stuff that you've all heard. And he was filling in for Jerry Garcia. Played with several different drummers, and the one he was playing with at the time, I think he was on the road with someone else or whatever it was. And so during that time, they also could use a background singer. So Daoud was playing the drums and I was singing, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Still friends. Yeah, still friends with a few of them guys. I knew them from 1967 when I was in the Mothers, because I opened to them the first time they played New York. The Grateful Dead. Yeah. I opened to Cream the first time they played this country in New York.
Awesome. Oh, that's awesome.
I also got to open to Jimi Hendrix before. It was a year before Woodstock at a different festival, Treetop Festival. So, you know, but these things were happening at a time when I didn't even know how wonderful that was, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But
what do you prefer more? I mean, do you like, you know, being out in front where everything's going on, or do you like being behind the scenes?
Well, I'm not much for behind the scenes, but I do enjoy them. I mean, what do I do behind the scenes? You mean like writing the song?
Well, whether you're writing or as a background vocalist, as opposed to being out front singing and playing your instruments.
Well, you know, we were spread across the stage when I played with Jerry. Same thing with the Mothers. So we were all in the front, no matter what we were doing. So background singers were up there in the front. I thought we should be kind of wiggling and dancing, you know. I did. The other girl singer, unfortunately, she wasn't from Philly, so she didn't have them moves.
Ah, okay.
Do you remember when they had those dancing shows? Of course, we had the first one, which was American Bandstand.
Like Jerry Blavat?
Where people could really dance. But do you remember, like, Hullabaloo, where the Californians were, like, just jumping into the air and waving their arms around with no consideration for the beat? Well, that's what I had next to me on stage.
Wow.
Jerry Garcia.
Oh, no.
Only she didn't really wave around. Doing nothing, really. Just kind of... She would have been good for, like, Nashville, where you have a lot of these people who just stand like sticks and play the guitar and sing. They forget that they have bodies and that there's people watching. And as I'm a visual artist as well, I went to Philadelphia College of Art on a half scholarship. And so I look at the visual along with the audio, all of it. It's like multimedia, isn't it? It's people are playing live. You want the whole, everybody's, all their senses, except maybe taste and smell, to, you know, to be channelized, or whatever the word is.
Absolutely. Well, I have another song that I'd like to play called Above the Storm.
Oh, yeah. You know, just to further answer your question, I enjoy every aspect of the music. I love recording. I love recording. I love singing backgrounds for people. I just enjoy the harmonies. It doesn't matter where I'm standing.
Me too. I love harmonies.
Love singing the harmony. And, of course, I love just, you know, singing and playing and performing. If I'm fronting, then there's more weight on me. It's like Lisa Fisher, wonderful singer. She performed as a background singer with Luther Vandross, even after receiving a Grammy for the best R&B female vocalist. So she had she could have just stepped right into a wonderful solo career. But she enjoyed the freedom of being a background singer and not having all the weight of being the front person.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah.
So, but now they're all becoming. They're having that show about the background singers, and she's on there. So I'm really happy for her.
Oh, that's good.
They're going to pull her out there in spite of herself. Brilliant singer. So I just. We were just moving into the next song.
Right.
We have a lot of storms going on. We need to get above them.
Got that right.
So here's that.
Exactly. Okay, on that note, we're going to take a listen to Above the Storm, and we'll be right back on Music 101.
And we spend a moment in eternity together, way above the weather, out above the storm. Even if you can't touch the storm, and fix and understand it. No discord. You can't stand for fall. Just a loving grace to keep above. misunderstanding. Nothing secret alleys. Places by the moon, the promised night. The people think they're gonna rolling, tracking corners, stacking out against everything inside. All day, can we spend a moment in eternity together? Rail for the weather, cloud for the storm. Even death can't touch the storm if it's an understander. No destroy, and instead for home. Just a loving grace to be of the song. When we were set in motion, like continuous devotion. From the belly to the back, and with all Jesus like a compass in a storm. Look up and see that angels in the sky. Oh, yeah. Can we spend a moment in eternity together? Rail for the weather, cloud for the storm. Even death can't touch the storm if it's an understanding. No destroy, and instead for home. Just a loving grace to keep the love song. No fear, no hate, no war. All love, all light above the storm. Above the storm. Just a loving grace to keep the love song. No fear, no hate, no war. All love, all light above the storm. Above the storm. Just a loving grace to keep the song.
we're back on Music 101 with ESSRA Mohawk. ESSRA, I believe it was in 1986 you wrote a song that Cyndi Lauper was recording called Change of Heart on her True Colors album.
Mm-hmm.
And it went to number 3 on the chart. How did that change your life? Did, that song, being the hit, for Cyndi, did that change your life in any way?
Like, was Change of Heart actually a change of life?
Yeah, right.
Well, of course, it was a huge change. I was able to buy a home. But to take you back to how it happened quickly, I got a call from my friend Bonnie Ross. She's a nurse for the Red Cross who I'd become friends with a year before by participating in a blood drive that she had put together. And she called me up and said, "Esther, Cyndi needs a rocker," because they'd looked for Rob Hyman, who wonderful writer of Time After Time. They couldn't find him. And so that she turned to me, and I had 2 other songs ready to give her. Met her downtown, and she said, no, I want that other one, that new one you just recorded, Change of Heart. Well, I didn't have that one ready. Unfortunately, we met at a friend's place that could make a copy because I had it in my pocketbook because I had just done it, so I was carrying it around with me because I loved it so much. And Harry Maslin, a producer who had produced David Bowie, he wanted to produce it with me as the artist. So I wasn't so quick to, hand it over.
Yeah,
but I did. Because Bonnie told me, she said, that's the one for Cyndi. So I gave it to her, and she met with Cyndi the following morning in New York. And within, I'd say, 5 days, maybe less, I got a call. And it was there was a message on my machine when I got home, and it went like this. Hello, this is Cyndi Lauper. This is Cyndi Lauper. I'm a friend of Bonnie's. I heard your song. It's really good, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, she had to tell me she was Bonnie's friend, like I wouldn't know who Cyndi Lauper was. So that was really cool. And what happened, they had already recorded the whole album. They actually knocked a song off. They bumped one and put mine on, and it was the first song in the album. And it's funny because it was the last one to get on there. So it all happened really fast. It came out fast, and we got sued fast, and there were problems fast. And my mother, the same week that the single came out, she was diagnosed with terminal lung cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
While my song flew up the charts, my mother went downhill, and I was the primary caregiver for her. So I couldn't go really out and enjoy my win because of the great loss that I experienced simultaneously. In a way, it kept me balanced to have something so wonderful and something so horrible happening at the same time. While I had to, go through federal court to protect my song from some horrible thief who tried to steal and destroyed the purity and beauty of the situation. And of course I had a total victory in court, but still it was hard because I had to be there, I had to be with my mom, there was a lot to deal with. And I was buying the house for my mother to die in Bucks County, which is where I lived before I moved to Nashville. And she said, don't forget the house. I'm not going to make it into the house. You want to move back to L.A. And but I got the house, and sure enough, she died while we were moving in.
Wow. So,
yeah, it was really more tragic than terrific at the time.
Well, I can imagine.
But, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah, this is true.
So
did you wind up staying in the house then, or just selling it and moving?
No, I stayed there for years.
Now, you said where in Bucks County was that?
Right off a couple streets off Street Road. There.
Was it Warminster? Southampton.
Trevose, PA.
And Trevose, okay. I lived in Southampton. We kind of followed similar paths. I started out in Philly, then I went to Southampton.
I still have friends in Southampton, you know.
Do you? Oh, wow.
Still a stomping grounds of mine when I get back there. I'll have to do that.
Yeah, now my mom moved up this way, so I haven't been there in years. It's probably 11 years.
Wow. I think I lived there in Philly. Was it in Philly or in that house? Let's see, from 88 until 93. So, what's that?
So what actually was your decision, as far as going to Nashville? Because it's like a big music mecca, or,
None of that.
do you have other reasons?
Absolutely other reasons. No, I didn't, I never wanted to come to Nashville. I never thought about it. I never thought of moving south for anything except maybe Florida. So, I didn't even know where anything was down here. But, a couple of things happened. I was ready to move back to California. I'd spent my 5 years in that house. And, I chanted to be shown where I should move to. And I arranged a trip to L.A. Writers, write a couple songs with some co-writers out there, and meet with some publishers and different people in the music business, and regular music business trip, and look and see if I still want to live there.
Mm-hmm.
And on the way, the plane stopped for 53 minutes in Nashville, because at that time American Airlines, which it was, had a hub here. And I felt a magnetic pull through the window of the plane. I really did. And back then, before 9/11, you could get off the plane and walk around and come back, and I did. And I got some things that said Nashville from the gift shop, and I clung to them as the plane took off for L.A., and I'm crying. And tears running down my face. I'm going, this is crazy. How can I feel bad about leaving some place I've never been? It was like I was leaving my soulmate, my best friend, or whatever. So, and then I went to L.A. and had other than the 2 wonderful songs that I wrote there, I had a horrible time with people I didn't know just attacking out of the blue. I said, this place is getting ready to explode. Meanwhile, I had just gotten a cut on a major country album without trying. I'd written with these guys in L.A., and I rewrote a song that they had that was a country song. And they got it on the Lorrie Morgan album. Something in Red was the name of the album. And I got a call from BMI. This was before I took that trip. And I got a call from BMI congratulating me. And, those guys I knew. And I said, I had a cut on a major country album. And I said, do you have nothing better to do today than to mess with me? He said, Esther, I can't believe you don't know about this cut. I said, let me tell you how much I don't know. Who the hell is Lorrie Morgan? I never, I'm a country music fan. I didn't know anything about any. So, anyway, I had to deal with all of that. And as fate would have it, when I was, as I was on my 10-day or whatever trip to L.A., there in the mail, back there in Bucks County, an invitation arrived to her platinum party because the album had gone platinum. And I never got it till I got home, and it was too late. It had already happened. Maybe that was the magnetic pull I felt through the window. Was I was supposed to get off the plane and go to this platinum party. Then I would have met everyone here on the level that I am, instead of some kind of not even a back door that, because I'm not a country person, so I'm not really, it's very strange being here for me. So, anyway, so that happened without me. And then I got a call from Mountain Stage. You know Mountain Stage? It was a radio program
No, I'm not familiar with that.
It's for me to perform, and it's in West Virginia, and not knowing my southern geography, I asked my friend that told me about it. I said, well, how far is that from Nashville? And he called them back, and it was equidistant. I said, well, can they just ask them if they could just send me on to Nashville instead of back to Philadelphia after I do the show? They did better than that. They wrote the ticket so that I could leave them, do the show in West Virginia, and come down to Nashville and spend 5-6 days, whatever it was, and then head back, and then the ticket took me back to Philadelphia. So that's how I got to actually finally come here, and it was a really magical trip. Everything I thought happened. Everything I wanted to do just laid itself out in front of me. It's an incredible story. I don't know if we have time for me to tell it, although you aren't kind of asking me.
No, go ahead.
Well, I'm friends with Al Cooper, and Al Cooper was all jazzed about being down. He was living in Nashville at the time, and he's usually a pretty negative guy. For him to be up and positive about something is so unusual that it must mean something, It must be great. So I arranged to come down and stay at his place for a few days, and then on to Music Row. Another friend of mine was in town at the same time who had a deal, someone I'd written with also in L.A. who had a deal with Atlantic. She happened to be here that week. And Karen Tobin is her name. Sweet girl. So I called my friend Rosie Forrest, who was living here at the time, or she was here a lot. And I'd met her in New York. We'd done was it Writers in the Round kind of thing in the Bottom Line with her and me and Billy Vera and Chip Taylor, who wrote Wild Thing. So I knew she knew her way around Nashville, so I said, hey, I'm heading to Nashville. Where's a good place to play? So she recommended that I play the Bluebird. So I called down there. They asked me to send a package. I sent a package, and they actually hired me. This is very unusual because I said, they have a town full of musicians. I said, what do you need me for? Actually, and they said, well, the timing was right. So everything went right. So as it turned out, now it gets really far out, that the band I was opening to with the Bluebird, Al Cooper happened to be sitting in and playing, because their keyboard player was off on tour, so Al was playing keyboards with that band, the Blue Bloods, and Michael Henderson's band. I think that's what it is. So it was really easy for me. Also, my friend who was the guitarist in my E-Turn band in Philly had moved down here with his wife, Bobby King. And Bobby picked me up at the airport, took me to his place. He loaned me a keyboard. We learned a half-hour set or whatever it was. We drove to the Bluebird. We set up. We did our show. They did their show. We all got paid. And then his car was next to Al's car. All I had to do was take my stuff out of Bobby's trunk, put it in Al's trunk. I mean, a manager could not have planned a more streamlined situation.
Wow.
Then
stars are all aligned.
Oh, it gets better. Then as I go into Al's place, you go in through the kitchen, he had a poster, big poster on the wall, 328 Performance Hall. Well, 328 was the number of the room that my mother had died in, room 328, on March 2nd, 88. 328. So I felt it was like Mom saying, you're home, here we are.
Wow.
And so now, it's a few days later, it's the end of the week, I've done meetings, wonderful meetings. I've moved into a hotel on Music Row. It's Friday night, and it was a Bible Belt. It was taken even more seriously back then than now as far as not working on the weekends. Now you can. So I thought, what am I going to do, Saturday? Because I think I was going home either Monday or Tuesday, whatever it was. I said, gee, what? I thought, well, I think I'll go and get myself a pair of cowboy boots, go buy an acoustic guitar, which I hadn't had one for years, 20 years, when mine was stolen in New York. And looked for a house. And I went to sleep with those thoughts. Well, the next morning, the phone rang, Saturday morning, and it's Karen Tobin calling me to say, hey, ESSRA, we're going to take a ride out to the country. You want to come with us? We're going to go to a boot shop, a guitar store, and look for houses.
Get out.
I said, well, I'm down. So that's why I moved to Nashville. I ended up getting the boots. I ended up getting the guitar.
And the house.
And I ended up with a house. Karen, she didn't get any boots. She didn't get the guitar. She's still living in L.A. Oh, I wish I was. She has a really nice place in L.A. So everybody made out just fine. But it's just funny how my thoughts just turn into reality. So it just seemed like it was the right move. It was more of a spiritual move. It really had nothing to do with the music business here. Let's face it, I already had a song on a major country album. I didn't think life was going to be difficult, but it is.
Right. So everything was the way it was supposed to be.
For whatever reason, here I am. And
you've been there ever since.
Yeah, well, October will be 20 years that I've been in this house. And now I'm California dreaming.
Yeah.
Either that, or maybe I'd like to come back up to my roots up there.
Come back up to Philly area again.
Yeah. Jersey, Philly, somewhere.
Well, we'll have to get you out here.
I want to be near the ocean, you know. I don't have to be on it, thank you. But I like to be within reach of it. And,
right.
And here I'm stuck in the middle, landlocked. With a loud dog. The world's loudest dog, actually. I found him on the internet.
What kind of dog is it?
He's a Treeing Walker Coonhound. He's beautiful. Treeing Walker Coonhound. He's now, he's going on 5. I've had him since he was a year and a half. And I found him at dogsindanger.com. And I didn't know that he had this voice, or he might have not made it through the week. But I love him. His name is Romeo, and it's one more magic story. I'll tell you the story of Romeo real fast. I was looking for another hound dog because mine had passed, and black and tan, and they're so calm and sweet, whereas these white, brown, and black ones, these Treeing Walker Coonhounds, they have lots of energy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, I thought, well, definitely want a short-haired male, and I'm going to name the next dog Romeo. So when I was looking through these websites, and I was sent to Dogs in Danger, there he was, and his name was already Romeo.
Get out.
within 2 days of me thinking it. So, some things, certain details in life.
It's like the law of attraction.
It's as if I have complete control in some areas, a complete linkage between my inner and outer realities. But other things resist such easy hookup. And everybody must have, I'm sure, a mixed bag of things that work easily for them and things that resist, that are more of a challenge. And
absolutely.
It's all good. It's all good. It all makes you better.
Yes, absolutely. Also, we have one more song that we want to play. Of course, we didn't get a chance. We were talking about this before, but it is a song that Cyndi Lauper recorded of yours, Change of Heart.
Cool.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going to take a listen to Change of Heart by ESSRA Mohawk, recorded by Cyndi Lauper, and we'll be right back on Music 101. We're back with ESSRA Mohawk. So, ESSRA, where are you now at this point in your life, at this very moment?
Well, there's a few things that we're doing. By the way, you'll have to hear the other magic story about change of heart. There's more to it. There is some more magic there. But right now, we're in the middle of putting together a compilation DVD from various shows that I've done. The one I spoke of earlier in Germany, and some older footage. Just a kind of a nice little compilation that will be released in the UK once we're done. We're halfway there, so it shouldn't be too much longer. I'm not sure, but he might be releasing a CD sampler, same company, also in the UK. At the same time, I'm negotiating with Warner's, it's pretty easily, they're very nice people there, to reissue, to put out Primordial Lovers once again. And we didn't get to talk a whole bunch about Primordial Lovers, but it seems to be everybody's favorite album of mine.
Yes, I remember that.
I really love the Killer Groove CD. I really like almost all the things I've done. There's maybe one album in all of them that I don't like as much as the others. I'm not going to say which one. One or two. But, even those have certain songs and recordings that I absolutely love. So, I feel good about everything, so far. Because you can't really go back. You can only go forward. So I have about 35 more songs to record that are being added to all the time because I write too much. I can't keep up with myself. And so I have I would like to do a jazz album. I would like to do a traditional pop album because those are the kind of songs I first started out singing as a kid. And I'd like to do a return of the Killer Groove Band. I would like to do another one of those. I have a bunch of songs that would work nicely for that. And the Primordial Lovers that we're going to put out, hopefully before the holidays, will have the originally intended cover, the full color cover that I'm sorry it didn't have when it first came out. It would have changed its karma. But meanwhile, we're going to do it. We're finally going to have that. So it won't be long.
So it sounds like a lot more new music on its way from you, huh?
Absolutely. It's just, I'm sorry. Sometimes I have to go slow. But I always finish what I start. So, may have to wait a little bit, but it will all little by little get out there. And because I'm determined to make sure it's all there for everybody to access, because I really believe that the music is valuable and it affects people in a really positive way, and I'm really happy about that and proud of that, and I'll feel peace in my heart if I can leave this life someday knowing I put it all down, it's all there, I don't have to be here anymore because my music is here.
And that lasts forever. That
and the book. The book I've been working on. Well, I haven't been working on it. It's been done. But I started a really good book about all these experiences, and I will finish that as well, I promise.
Okay, great. So we can also expect a book as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So do you have any tours you're planning to do, any shows coming up soon, and are you planning on doing any touring?
Well, this is airing after I play, so...
Okay.
So that the time parallel thing, dimensional. But I'm playing in a few days here in Nashville.
Okay, great.
Yeah, Wednesday. So just to get myself, exercised and start getting back out there, so that I feel good about booking something out of town. Maybe I'll come up there.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely got to come up here and hang out.
I will. We'll get together. It'll be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
so what do you think now about the state of the music industry today as opposed to when you first started out?
Well, mediocrity rules. Copycats are everywhere. Everyone sounds like everyone else is. Like, I think 3 voices out there, divided up between 100 people. Everybody's copying somebody. There's very little originality.
Right.
When I started,
the overuse of the vocoder and auto-tuning.
Yeah, right. They can't even sing. They can't keep a tune, and they think they're singers. This is crazy. But that's what technology allows people to be less. So the consumers are getting less bang for their buck.
Mm-hmm.
When they're not having the kind of music experience as possible, either in a live situation or even a recorded situation, because the people who are out there doing it all now are amateurs with money, amateurs with backing. It's not about talent anymore. Not to say that there aren't great talents out there, but they're far and few between, all of the mediocre ones. Right now, mediocrity rules, but the pendulum always swings, and so that won't be forever. Just like the great music that we had in the 60s and 70s faded into this horrible mess of beats without melody and so on and so forth. People get sick of that, and they're going to want more. They're going to need satisfaction, a kind of satisfaction that they're not getting and they don't even know. But that's why there's so many young people who love the older music, because they sense the difference. They hear, they go, oh my God. I can't tell you how many young people said, God, I wish I'd lived during the 60s, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I try to tell them, man, if you did, you'd be 65 now. Which is cool. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, what advice would you give to new artists that are trying to break into the industry now?
Well, be yourself. Make music that comes from your heart. Do your very best. No matter if everyone else in the world is doing less. Because ultimately it's your own soul, it's your own good feeling inside you that's important to maintain, not the outside. That'll come along. Sometimes you have to be patient and just have faith to believe in what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, it's so easy to be influenced by what's around you, but you have to trust your own soul. If you have that kind of soul that needs to get out there in the form of music, allow it. But when I was at a certain point in my life, when I've been told everything from that I was too commercial till I wasn't commercial enough, I was told I was too good. My response to that was, I'm just going to have to get better.
Right.
So that's it. That's all you can do is just keep getting better. Eventually, things will catch up with you, or if not, you'll have a satisfied soul, and I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, where can our listeners find your music if they would like to purchase any of your discography?
Well, if you go to ESSRAMohawk.com and you go to the Buy Stuff page, you can either print out a mail order form with things on it, and you can get through that. It goes directly to me and Mummy Pump Music, and I can actually autograph those things. But if you don't care about having an autograph, then I say go to CD Baby, cdbaby.com, and just punch in ESSRA Mohawk, and they have 4 of my albums. But on the Buy Stuff page at ESSRAMohawk.com, there are various links, so you can even get to the albums that I don't own that are available elsewhere.
Okay, great.
There's just really 2 of those. And they're at evidencemusic.com. That's if they're still in business. Who knows?
Right.
They happen to be 2 great albums, actually. Rain Dance, which was the first album I recorded in Nashville, and the first 6 months I was here, I was already had a deal. But it was out of Ann Arbor, Michigan. I'm telling you, it's crazy, my life. So it doesn't matter where you are. Things can come to you from anywhere. That's what I've learned.
That's right. Just have to believe and make it happen.
That's the most important thing, is having faith in what you do and not being too influenced, especially by negatives. If someone has something constructive to tell you, that's great. But if they're just trying to tear you down, that's no help to you at all.
No. Absolutely not. Just let that roll off.
It's not easy because artists are sensitive.
Yeah.
It's easy to get to us. But you know, after time, you learn to laugh off a lot of stuff, like missing Woodstock. Like getting there too late to play.
Oh.
Stop that, folks, for missed opportunities.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I know people that went.
Well, I was there.
You were there.
Well, sure.
Yeah, I think, well, actually, my first husband was there, and I think Jay was there, too.
Not the same as actually being on the bill.
Yeah.
Too late to play. Being there and not being able to play when that's what you came to do is...
So you were on the bill to play?
Yeah, I was supposed to play Friday the first day. Yeah, that's why I was there.
Wow.
Of course. Why else would I go?
Oh. Yeah,
No. Do you know that story?
No, I don't know that story.
Oh, gosh. Well, my manager lost sight as we were following Michael Lang and another friend of ours in their car, and when they turned off to head towards the heliport so we could fly in, my manager lost sight of their car and missed the turn, and we ended up driving in with the masses and getting there as the last song of the last show happened, and as we were running towards the stage, the lights went out. And
wow.
That was it. The lights went out on my career.
Oh.
Yeah. I sure was supposed to play. Which is funny the way it all went. But anyway, I'm still here. So many of them aren't.
This is true. You gotta look at it that way, exactly. And a lot more to come from you in the future. And that's
I got lots to do. That's what keeps me young, I guess. I know I have to stay young.
That's right.
To have the strength and the energy to finish all these things I want to do. And still want to travel more, play out places I haven't been, play again places I have been. So I have a lot in front of me. I think about my age and how most people my age wouldn't have that many years in front of them, but I look in the mirror and I still see a young person.
Oh, that's great.
So I still
gotta think young, act young, feel young, you know?
Right, I still wear all my old clothes.
That's awesome.
And they don't get old because I love clothes, man. I got lots of them, and so.
Oh no, everything comes around.
That's right. Well, not just that. My whole wardrobe, whatever you want to call it, comes around. In other words, I don't wear anything out because I rotate it all.
Mhm.
So everything's like ready to go to Goodwill.
There you go. Sir, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to me today and, give our listeners such a great background on your past, present, and future.
Well,
and
so
really looking forward to seeing and hearing more from you. And I'm looking forward to you coming down this way so we can hang out.
Well, I really would come up there, and you're always welcome to come down here, and it was a pleasure, and thank you so much for considering me and playing my music.
Absolutely. Well, it was a pleasure for me as well. You have a great night, ESSRA.
You too. Have a wonderful weekend.
Okay, take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This is Alexis Steele for Music 101.